My brother said that I had a lot of determination. I have a lot of determination, but at the same time, Sheldon, shut up. At the same time, I made a lot of demands too. I recall very vividly when I was in the service, particularly when I was overseas, I used to write Manny and practically demand things that everybody needed, coupons or whatever you had that time, ration cards to get what. But if anytime I asked Manny to send something, there was no hesitation. I would get a package from home, and this wasn't for Britain either. That was for me. And anything that I needed, practically Manny would send it to me. And if there's anybody that's really, Manny used to write to me that I was the best boy in the house, but actually it was my brother. It is my brother. Okay. Then my sister at home used to write to me all the time, and of course, as Manny said, when I was in service, I wrote in Yiddish letters, not because I was talented in Yiddish, but I taught myself to write because I realized that particularly my mother couldn't read English very well. It would make it easier for her to understand some things, and of course, with the jokes and so on, it was hard to write in Yiddish. The jokes I left in English mostly. I started out to say a lot of things here, and I'm getting a little mixed up, but I want to keep certain things in their proper perspective. There's one person here that I feel that I owe a great deal to, particularly for coming here from a long distance, and I didn't realize that we were going to have a great. I had a suspicion that there was something, a little party, but you know, okay, a little bit. But there's one person here that came here, and this same person was here on a previous occasion. He came from a long haul. He had to pay expenses to come here, and he came particularly for Sandy's party last year. It was exactly about a year ago, and I felt very bad throughout this entire year that I went because at that small gathering, I was asked to say a word or two, and I didn't do very well. And particularly because I overlooked our good friend, our cousin, Joey Ryan. And Joey Ryan has been a very good friend to Sandy. And as I say, I want to publicly apologize to Yossi because I didn't treat him right when he was here last year.
You always treat him right.
No, just a minute. And one thing I'm grateful for about this party, at least you give me a chance to say publicly, to thank Yossi publicly for coming. And Yossi has been a great friend and help, a great friend and help to Sandy. Because I have singled out Sandy doesn't mean that I don't appreciate the fact that all you people came here. I really do. There's so many here, and there were more here before. And in all my life, I never dreamt that all these people would be pulled out from wherever they were. They come here, you know? Long beard, short beard, don't they?
Hey, listen. I think you owe Edith a word of thanks. She's going to have to put up with you another 50 years.
I ain't going to live up. That's what you run.
That's what you run.
No, Joe, you're going to make it. The good guy young.
I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something. I agree with you one thing. You're right. I'm not much good, but I got a good woman, see?
You better believe it.
And it takes a little doing to get a good woman. Don't forget, Joe. You got one too. And I don't know where all these people got all these bubby mices on how great I am or how great I was. As I said before, it'll be very difficult for me to make amends and try to be good all these years.
Try hard. Try hard, Joe.
So you think? The minute you get what you want? Okay. Turn around the bend over.
You got 50 more years, Dad.
And, there were a few people here that really got up and said things. I didn't take any notes, so I'm a little rusty. I wanted to comment or say something about some of the things all the nice people said here. And after listening to that, I can't believe it. That's me. They were talking about.
Well, that's why Phil is doing it on the video, so you can play it.
Replay tomorrow.
On the video.
On the video. On the video.
Tomorrow.
Bring it every reverse angle. Instant gratification.
You can fast forward without the commercials.
There were a few things that Marcy said, and I mean, I must be getting senile after all.
That's the fact you didn't make that note. That teach you a lesson, Joe.
I told you before, stop the way, business right still. Okay, anyway, so Sandy, now you know where I came from. I didn't tell you what town I came from because you're gonna get all mixed up. I'm not gonna mix you up.
We know
One of these,
town.
yeah, just a minute. One of these days, you people are gonna find out. Okay, what? I came from Subal. Okay, that's right, that's right.
My mother has his. What's so careful about that?
Nothing, that's my character. Yeah, okay. Stop it, listen, where's the rabbi? Where's Rabbi Ryan? Well, his mother-in-law came from Subal. His mother-in-law came from Subal.
Stop and grab it. Stop and grab it.
Let's back, yeah, look at it. But he's a little look, we don't say break, we say break, okay?
That's right.
Break, like this.
Canine horror, Joe. Yeah,
That's right. Okay, anyway, there's now look at, as I said, there's so many people here that said so many good things, and I'd like to say something about everyone, but then, you know, I couldn't wind up
slighting somebody.
like offending people, and then worrying a whole year, but I didn't say this about this guy. Anyway, my good friend Jack, I liked his singing, I liked everything he did. My friend Kerry was very short and sweet. Michelle, you're okay in America, okay? And
Who's Michelle?
you're number one, she's number two, and that's the lawyer. Okay.
She's the lawyer.
She's the lawyer.
Yes.
His name is
But I just,
Michelle.
wait a minute, but for 40 years I've been his
There's only
favorite.
one number two, Mr. W.
Don't forget it. Yeah.
Don't you forget it.
Yeah. The real number two is married to the guy that told you the story about New York. Okay. And for those that didn't understand what the story is, there were a few Gentile people here, and you should have said it. Sorry. Okay, we're sorry. Okay. But Mr. Canales, you know it's a Jewish holiday. Okay. Okay. The other going
That means to be happy with the Bible.
Okay, that way. We know.
We don't know.
And Mr. Goldberg, for a man that's as successful as you are, I appreciate that you kept it right to the point.
He does circumcisions as a sideline.
There's a prospect over there, don't talk to me about it. Miss Sherry, we all got to laugh together, okay? Okay, well, who's next? Let's see, who did I miss? Oh, the poetess. Oh, she never met before me. Yeah, I want to introduce myself to you formally. I am Joseph D. Vogel, okay? Joseph D. Vogel, not Vogel. What are you? Vogel. This is America. Okay, now did you people hear enough already?
Yeah.
Mr. Schneider, I don't have to say much about Mr. Schneider because Mr. Schneider is there when I need him. Okay? Telephone or
Why don't you thank Edith for what she did?
You shut up already. I'm
trying to help you, Joe. I want you to have a home to come home
Hey,
to.
listen, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you. You know, Charlie, what said something to remind me, I wasn't going to say anything about you, but I'll fix your clock. I went one time about Mr. with this guy. We walked all the way to Chernobyl show. Chernobyl. Way about a mile and a half one time. See? And this guy, Stocknovich gets up there, makes a speech about the bar mitzvah boy, and then I'm sitting back there with Joe, you know, geeking like, and Joe all of a sudden gives a holler, he gives a, Machina's tall!
That means it's time to stop.
Yeah, and everybody knows, he would never do anything wrong.
So why don't you take the hint?
For your information, Joe, I want you to come over and hear this recording, because I said before, I got the best woman there is, and I'm going to tell you again in front of everybody, and if it wasn't for this woman, I wouldn't be here now. See, there wouldn't be a party here. You understand? This is better than writing because it's the pictures with it. Okay, and furthermore, if it wasn't for this woman, I wouldn't have these beautiful children, and the grandchildren, and the future, and thanks God for the daughter-in-law. And I want to say again, I thank you, everybody, for coming. I hope I haven't slighted anybody, and if I did, write me a note. Next year, I'll ask you for him. Very good. Okay. Now, before I finish, I just want to say this was unrehearsed, and then turn it over to Sandy.
Okay.
Joe, I want you to know this is the first time my husband's ever stayed up so late, and it's only for your honor. Way past his bedtime.
Where is that? He's taking it to the uncle.
Okay. Perhaps it would have been more appropriate for me to say a few words before. And not to upstage my father, but this will be the last thing tonight. None of us.
Oh, we got a lot of time. You know. So we'll go right.
gotta be in the office.
I'll go right from here. Don't worry.
Nobody will take it. I won't take it. Nobody will take it.
Joe Rabinowitz?
Yeah.
I think you're jealous.
Anyway, I'd just like to say a couple very brief words. I know that in times past I've been a little long.
You're pretty tall.
Yeah, but maybe I'll be speaking for Fred, Shelley, Michelle, and myself, and maybe I won't. Depends what you say. I'm going to say something from my heart about my father.
Why are you scratching your chin?
Joe.
Be careful. And I've given a lot of thought to coming here tonight. A lot of you know me that my life is no secret. I've been a lot of different places. My father's a very special person to me. And tonight I had the honor of taking him out. And to be very honest with you, I think he knew that we were going to have a party. And he was a great sport. And I want to say that about him. What I'd like to say is just very briefly to say a couple words about Hanukkah, what it means to be a son, and what it means to be a son specifically of my father. Conventional wisdom has it that Hanukkah over people who wanted to change Judaism. But really, what Hanukkah is all about is not really so much about victory from over without, but victory from within. Because if you read in First Maccabees, the first person that Matisyahu, the high priest, killed was a Jew who was doing avodah zarah, who was doing idol worship. And really, the deeper meaning of Hanukkah, if you understand it, is that Jews at that time were becoming very assimilated, taking upon themselves the Greek ways and not following Torah. And what we use as a symbol of Hanukkah is lighting Hanukkah candles. And the reason is to remind us this was a rededication of Jewish spirit. And there really is another very deep level to Hanukkah, and that is that it's about father-son drama. Because when we read about Matisyahu ben Yochanan, and we read about Judah, his son, and we read about how they forged an alliance with the Hasidim at the time. And really what we see in the story is how fathers and sons came together to bring together the Jewish people to fight against assimilation from within and from destruction from without. And what we do on Hanukkah is every day in benching and Shemona Esrei, we read a paragraph Al HaNisim, which talks about all the miracles. And in this paragraph it mentions Torah twice, but it says Torah Secha. It says your Torah. It doesn't say the Torah, it says your Torah. And we know that this aggravated the Greeks and the Syrians very much, because Torah to Jews is something that belongs to us, your Torah. Not just God's Torah, but our Torah. And we learn that fathers teach their sons about Torah and mitzvahs, and it's something that's passed on from generation to generation. And that really, to me, is the deeper significance of Hanukkah, is to understand what it means to be a Jew and what it means to have your father pass on to you Torah, mitzvahs, how to be a Jew, something inside your kishkis. In the last couple of years, I've been a lot of places and seen a lot of different Jews, and been trying to do a little tshuva in my own way to get back into Judaism, Yiddishkeit. And I've discovered something very interesting, that my father and my mother and all the people in this room, particularly my father, gave me something that is indefinable, that I find very difficult to explain to people. And it's something that's in your kishkis, something that you grow up with. You grow up with your father getting up every morning, putting tefillin on. You grow up going to Matala Shul. If I were to walk into Matala Shul upstairs, I could show you the seat my father sat in, the seat Mr. Charnow sat in, and the seat Mr. Goldman sat in. With no problem. So it isn't something that, it isn't like a blot of Gemara that you learn. It isn't a pasuk from Chumash that you learn. It's something that's given to you that's intangible, that enriches your life, that fills you with a feeling that is impossible to describe. So even though it's my father's birthday, the way I feel is that we've given him a lot, but he's also given us a lot, and he's given me a lot. And I would personally like to say thank you very much for all that you've given me and all that you continue to give me. And you should live to 120. And that Meretz Hashem, God willing, we should all dance under the chuppah, to sing under the chuppah very soon.
We're getting married?
Are you leaving out?
Do with it what you want, and that's really all I have to say.
Joe, you trust me to translate?
Okay, where's the bookkeeper? Keep track of who's done what.
Can we eat now?
Danny.
Hey, Santa.
We have the bench.
He's like it.
Who washed?
I didn't even read it. Okay.
Before, when everybody was getting their chance to say how they remembered you, I didn't get a chance. And you know me, I'm not much of a speaker in public, so I'm taking this time now to say to you, and you will see it alone on the VCR. You may not remember, but I remember several times we shared together when I was little, when I would be in the bathroom and I would play with your radio, and I'd never admit it, and you would always know it. I still remember when you first bought me my first. Start over with the radio. I remember in the bathroom I would play with your little transistor radio, and I would never admit to doing it. I remember you brought me my first transistor radio, and I still have that to this day, even though I may not use it, but I still have it. Another time I remember is when you would come in here and daven. I'd come in here and sit next to you real quietly, and you'd just sit there and look at me and continue what you're doing. I remember also time when you first time I'd ever seen you in gym shoes. We went to the circus, you, me, and Bubby, and I had gym shoes on then. I remember that time. And, oh, time out though. You, me, and Carol went miniature golfing. I remember doing that with you. And I don't know if you like doing those things or if you just like being with us, but I want to thank you for putting up with us, and I hope you like doing those things. And I hope you enjoy your birthday here, your VCR, and everything else. And I don't know why everybody says they hope you live to 120, but I'm going to top them and say I hope you live to 180. Goodbye, Zadie, I love you.
Wolgel, and I have messages from, I'll start with our children who were here and left about 11 o'clock. First from Ilana, all we can do is squeak, and she just squeaks, that she isn't talking yet. Aaron had rehearsed to sing you Ein Kelohenu, but we never got there, so we'll make that up to you. And one of the things that Aaron talks about a lot is the calculator in your office. You've been very helpful to Dory and I to represent us as an attorney while we purchased our condominium and sold it and then bought our new home. And many nights and many days Aaron was at your office while we were working up while some of the papers were being worked up, or you were explaining things to us, and he would just press the buttons and play with the buttons on the adding machine until the paper was run out. And I remember him sitting around adding to some of the clutter in your office. It didn't matter, and you're always so genteel to him to help him and make him feel loved. Dory, in just the 8 years that she's known you, has grown to love you as an uncle and feels very attached. And is also appreciative of the meticulous work you've done as an attorney, and loves your jokes, and is glad that we're not billed for your jokes because they're tremendous and they're frequent. And also loves you very much and wishes you a happy birthday and many, many happy years to come. I'm tired, and there's a lot of things to remember, but one that I'll put on film is something that goes back to my childhood, when one visit in particular, we were here a lot, there were many visits we had, but there was one visit in particular that I recall where you taught me about washing my hands. And it was confusing because I always wash my hands at home. And on Pesach, we washed our hands and did the special blessing, and we poured the water from the cup onto our hands and said the prayer. Said the Al Netilat Yadayim. I remember here you taught me about on the Shabbat. And every Shabbat with our children as we wash their hands, and now Aaron is beginning to notice. I think back to the memory of the piece of our Jewish heritage that you shared with me and helped to ingrain in me. and we're appreciative of that. We carry that on with us. And while there's been a lot of love that we have for you, that particularly is something that is, I guess, etched in me somewhere in my heart and my mind. And on behalf of our whole family, thank you for the love and the uncleship and all the good times too. And happy birthday, Hanukkah. And I hope you can live to 120, 180.
Okay. Pocket full of posy and let's drop all down. You want to do it again? To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear, dear uncle. Happy birthday to you.
Can you do it in Hebrew now?
Young lady, Sonia. Young lady, Sonia. Young lady, Uncle Joe. Young lady, Sonia. My turn now.
Think about.
All right, this is the beginning of a series of photographs showing the life of Joseph D. Wolgell, Uncle Joe. on the occasion of his 70th birthday.
Next.
All right. This is a picture of Manny and Joe in 1941. And next to it is a picture of Manny and Evelyn and Bubby and Zadie, Faggy and Menachem Mendel.
Where's Uncle John Sadie?
And next to that is a picture of Evelyn and Edith in 1942.
Right there is?
Yeah, before Edith was married to Joe, before Evelyn was married, in front of the Sawyer Avenue Shul,
Where's Bubby and Sadie?
which was across the street from where they lived
Bubby and Sadie.
at 1318
Where's
South
Bubby and
Sawyer.
Sadie there?
This is your Abba's Bubby and Zadie. And then you see a picture of Edith, also about that time when Joe was in service. And in the picture in the center, there's Leonard Wiggin and Max Brown and Manny and Joe. Do you know who these two men are?
I
You don't know?
remember if
No.
they're...
In January of 1942. And this is Manny and Joe in 1942. February. Joe in front of Company C, 1st Battalion. And home on leave in a full uniform. A New Year's card that he created and had photocopied and sent to everyone in 1942. And also a picture of him.
In case you can't read that, it says, Joseph D. Wolgell, Uncle Sam's boy in Northern Ireland, wishes you a Happy New Year, 1942, 5703, Lashana Tova Tikate.
And next to it says, Happy New Year, Joe, France, 1944. It's a photograph of him. And in April 1945, a wedding picture of Joe and Edith, 2 wedding pictures of Joe and Edith, and a family celebration with the cousins. Shirley Holcomb is there, Uncle Mortimer.
Gary.
And Gary? Okay. Uncle Mortimer and Aunt Anna, Evelyn, Maynard, Jean, Uncle Meyer, and Aunt Rachel. Baby Michelle, 1946, with Edith, and with little older Michelle with Joe, probably around 2 years old. And Michelle with Aunt Evie, maybe when she was about 7 or 8. And then all the Wolgell children in front of our house at 4615 West 82nd Place. There's Sari and is that Fred and Michelle and Shelley and Sandy, Aunt Evie and Edith, and this must be Phil in the stroller that's out of view here.
No, I'm on the
Here, where? This is Phil and Shelley, Sandy, Sari, Fred, and Zadie Menachem Mendel Wolgell in the background, in front of 2604 West Farwell, the Wiggle Inn North, the Wolgells North house. And next to that is Manny and his father, Menachem Mendel Wolgell, Sari Wolgell, and Philip David Wolgell. That's Joe and Edith and Marcy and Manny on September 26, 1948, when Marcy and Manny were married. Joe is all smiles, and so is Edith. Michelle was the flower girl. 7th. This was the occasion of Sari and Paul Schifrin's wedding. Sari Wolgell and Paul Schifrin. Joe, Edith, Marcy, Manny, Evelyn, and Lefty on that picture. This picture is Esther Friedman, Shelley Wolgell with his Israel haircut, Joe and Edith, Eric, Michelle, Evan Lefty. And this was when Shelley was engaged to Michelle, and after they were married in this picture. There's Evan Lefty, Joe, Fred in this picture, Fred, and a little bit of Joe showing Rabbi Ryan and Blanche Ryan. And Fred and Shelley. And here's the new lawyerky, Michelle and Shelley Wolgell. Picture of Ev and Lefty and Nan at the time of Sari and Paul's wedding. And this is a picture of Joe and Edith and Michelle at the 40th anniversary party of Blanche and Aaron Ryan. And that was in 1981. And there's Eric and Nan at the time of Sari and Paul's wedding in 1976. And there's Eric and Kara and Michelle in 1986. And Jonah Schifrin playing the violin and working at the computer. And Rachel and Kayla. Kayla's backing down the stairs. Rachel looks like she's going to listen to a tape. Kara and Aaron at the piano, at the J at the time of Shelley and Michelle's brunch after they were married. And here's Phil and Dory and Ilana and Aaron at their new home in Morton Grove in 1986. There's Uncle Joe and his buddy Aaron at the Wolgell South at 4615 West 82nd Place for Uncle Manny's birthday. And Phil and Ilana and Uncle Joe at the kitchen at 4615. All right, this is Evan Lefty, Joe and Edith, Marcy and Manny at Edith's and Joe's house when Shelley and Michelle were engaged. And the pictures, all the other pictures on the page at the same time. There's Sandy and Shelley and Michelle Key the lawyer, and Fred. On the bottom picture is the cousins, Paula Friedkin, Dave Davis, Evelyn Lefkowitz, Bea Davis, Dave's wife, Shirley Holcomb, Sam Holcomb, and Marcy Wolgell. Michelle Key, the lawyer Key, Blanche Ryan, Edith Wolgell, looking over a beautiful table. And the friends Kara and Becky in Uncle Joe's chair in their living room. and Aunt Nan with Ilana. Photos we've put together in honor of Joe's 70th birthday. They represent many wonderful times that we've shared, and we hope that whoever watches them, this, will be able to see the joy in our faces.